we are. Who are we?
Who am I?
Yeah.
I am Jose Jimenez.
For Jose?
Jose, welcome to the Wild Bob and Ronnie Show. I'm Wild Bob. I'm under this hat here. And
I'm good looking.
you can see all of it. And this is Ronnie over here, the one that uses his hormones to grow hair. I got a better use for mine. We're glad to see you. It's August already. School's already back in session. A couple of towns real close here. Clinton went back to school today. I think we go back to school on what, the 12th?
I don't know.
I think that's right. I think
Knox County starts next week.
I'm in PK. They're going to roll me in PK on the 12th.
You can't make the grades. You better see if you can go.
Well, I don't know. They've done a right detailed study here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Of kids that were in PK and those who weren't. And in the 5th grade, those who weren't made a lot better grades than those who went to PK. There's a simple explanation for that. Those who stayed home that 1 year longer probably had parental supervision.
Probably learned more at home than they learned.
Well, they probably had parental supervision, whereas those that went to PK probably would have been slapped in a nursery somewhere anyhow. So they probably were not the quality students as those that did not go to PK. As a result, the home has a greater influence on students' achievement, not just grade-wise, but what they actually learn, than anything else involved in their lives.
Well, I'm still a firm believer that the first 3 grades should be together, and the second 3 grades should be together, and the third 3 grades should be together in grammar school.
That's too simple. I mean, why in the world would you want to bunch children together where they can help one another?
Well, the thing about it is, the primer kids, I know the teachers just can teach one class at a time. That's all he or she can do. I understand that. And that's all he or she needs to do. They start off in primer, or kindergarten, if you want to call it that now, and you don't know nothing, you're just a clean slate, but they start teaching you a little bit. Well, the first day in school, you have your first introduction to education for the primer, and then you watch them see what they do in the first grade, and you absorb a little bit of that, and I mean, that's when you're most curious and interested anyway. And then it comes to the second grade, you get that, and then they come back to you. That's the way they done us. They rotated 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Well, that meant that I had the second grade 3 times before I got out of there.
Right.
And while...
Well, I had second grade 3 times too, but I didn't have but 1 second grade.
How many times did you have 5th grade?
My 5th grade teacher, bless her heart, I never will forget her. She dipped snuff. And
in school? In school?
All day long she dipped snuff. You know, she reminded me of...
They wouldn't let her do that now.
Reminded me of Cliff Jennings at council meeting with his spit bottle. And I can't remember her name, but I can sure remember her dipping that snuff.
Well,
she's a good teacher, a good woman.
The 2nd and 3rd grade, when they was doing something with kindergarten, done their homework they wanted to, that's just a great way to set up a school system.
Sure.
But no, we can't do that now.
Well, you know, they can't do anything. I was going to mention, I'm glad you started off a little bit on the school we did. You know, we worry about somebody coming in and shooting the kids and shooting up the school and everything, so they have hired in Knox County 47 research officers. You know, if you think of what school system in the world has the greatest threat of people coming in and killing their kids, what school system is that?
Well, you could argue a little bit about those Chesnian separatists up in Russia, but you're going to say Israel.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, Chesney, you know, they've had their problems too, you know.
But it's the same bunch.
The Muslims.
Yeah, same bunch are fighting.
And I'm going to say something here in a little bit that will be a little bit provocative, you know, maybe a little bit over the top.
We don't do stuff like that around
But
here.
I mean, I've done that before. Israel. And for a while there, they had some school massacres.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what they did?
They armed the
They
teachers.
trained and armed the teachers. Now, you take these big, sprawling school campuses with one officer. All you got to do is lock him out of one section, and you can take over. But if you trained a goodly number of your teachers, those that don't want to, I wouldn't let them, because they wouldn't make good defenders anyhow if they didn't want to. But I would train as many of them as I could, and I would give them a little extra bonus for being an armed security person.
Yeah.
And on every floor and in many, many, many rooms, if somebody comes in there with the intention of doing violence, they'd have a rough road to hoe. So, I mean, I think it's foolish not to train the teachers. I mean, why in the world would you want to hire a bunch of teachers that you couldn't trust with a gun? What are you looking at?
Well, I was seeing which one, was it Missouri or Arkansas that recently, Missouri, they recently passed a law to let their teachers carry guns.
Yeah, to let them carry guns, okay. What I'm talking about is requiring them to carry a gun.
Well, it is different.
I don't see why in the world armed teachers would be a threat to anyone. If you got somebody, if a teacher armed, it's a threat to the school system, you need to get rid of him or her. I just wonder if Barack Obama on this school bus meeting I was mentioning before we come on the air, where you have 3 black kids just stomped and literally intended to kill one white kid on the bus. And I just wonder if Barack Obama is going to say that that kid that got beat up could have been him. And I wonder...
Arkansas is the one that passed it. They shelved it in Missouri.
Right, okay, good. And, well, I don't see anything wrong, you know, Constitution gives you the right to bear arms. Don't say if you're a teacher you can't bear arms. It doesn't say that if you have a gun you can't put no bullets in it like the state of Tennessee says. You know, the state of Tennessee, you can't have any bullets in your gun unless you have a carry permit. Now, I believe everybody has a carry permit as of 1778 or 1779, whenever the 10 amendments to the Constitution were passed.
Well, 1789 is when they passed the entire Constitution. I don't know. You don't know when the Bill of Rights was passed?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it passed when the main Constitution passed, did it?
No, they wouldn't have made an amendment if it had.
I know, but they wouldn't. They didn't. They wouldn't vote to pass it till they got the Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights passed the first 10 minutes. Okay, let's see. Created September the 25th, 1789.
1789?
Yeah, and ratified December the 15th, 1791.
Okay, when was the original Constitution passed? Our Constitution?
Well,
I know when the articles were from that race were passed.
I know what you're saying about wouldn't be amendments as part of the original Constitution, but didn't the Constitution hit a snag and couldn't get, didn't all the states have to vote yes for the Constitution to be effective?
I think the Constitution would have passed if just however many of them.
Well, you can't force it on the state that don't want to join.
Well,
You can't force the Constitution on the states that didn't want to join.
I know that they just wouldn't be a joiner.
Yeah, well, in order to get them to join, okay, I'll go along with that. They didn't get the other states in until they passed the Bill of Rights. Let's see. It was ratified in 1788.
Okay, and the Bill of Rights passed in '89. An amendment amended in 1891. I knew it was passed a year or so after the Constitution was presented for ratification.
Well, it was ratified by a convention in 11 states. It went into effect on March 4, 1789.
Probably it had to bring this Bill of Rights on to get the other two to join and pacify some of them that did say they would join pending ratification with these 10 amendments. And a lot of people, the 10 amendments actually was not a Bill of Rights for us. The 10 amendments told the government what they couldn't do to us.
You told them what they could and nothing else.
Right, that's right. It limited the power of government, what the first 10 amendments did. And because all power is supposed to rest in the hands of the people. And this stated very clearly that what the government was to keep a hand off of them. One of them was on the right to bear arms. There was no equivocation of that. The right to bear arms shall not be infringed upon. Now they say, well, they went on and said that they established militia is something good for the country, and that's what it is. Then you go on to say that. But I believe everybody has the right to bear arms, and the onus is on the government to prove that person does not have the right to bear arms.
I have to bring up this tweet. This was your honeymoon. A fine honeymoon. Circumvent.
Oh, well.
Hello. Okay.
So, we got the Constitution took care of. What else we going to work on?
Well, I don't know really. There's so many things in this country that are going the wrong way. That people are looking for the wrong things. They're like looking for love in all the wrong places and looking for love in all the wrong places. Well, I think that's true of what we're looking for in the government. And do you know that we have 58 million people full-time employed now?
I think so.
Huh?
Something like that.
Like that. And probably 70-some million counting the part-time employees. And you know how many people got on food stamps?
49, ain't it? 49 million, ain't it?
No, 102 million now. We have more people on food stamps than are working. Of course, I understand that some of those people are working on food stamps too, you know. But still, we have more people on food stamps than are employed in this country. So that ought to tell you something, that something's not right.
Number on food stamps. Number on food stamps per year, and that's what we want. Boy, they didn't make it much big, did they?
Huh?
I said they didn't make it much big.
See, in July, I believe it was July, we had less people working than we had in June, but we had a 2/10 of a percentage point drop in unemployment.
In January of '08, we had, I guess that's in millions. I'm sure that's
You had
in millions.
47 and 500,000.
In January of '08, we had 27.5 million, and in October of, well, in April of 13, we had 47.5 million. Where'd you get the 100 at?
That's what I heard over television a while ago.
Well, they've never increased it. This just goes through April of this year. That means everybody got on they doubled in the last 2 months, if that's right.
I don't know. I may be off on my, I might have misunderstood what they said, but they said we had more people on food stamps than are working. Well, how many people are employed? We've got more than that on food stamps right now.
We had 46.6 million
Working.
in 2012, no on food stamps. You didn't have your numbers reversed, did you? Okay.
I think I've been known to reverse things before, but
Did you ever get your truck or did it back up?
right, yeah.
12% of the households in America get help with food stamp or something like that. Got a house plan here to cut 5 million.
What?
Gonna cut 5 million if they get the house plan in effect. Just 5 million though.
Really? Off of food stamps?
Yeah. Well, I can't find nothing in recent news.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the statement was made that we have more people on food stamps than we do employed. And I'll tell you, you have to realize that some of those people are working on food stamps also because of their income and the size of their family. And I can understand that. But you know, well, one of the problems...
That's a lot of people, you know it?
Huh?
40, 50 million people is a lot of people to be feeding.
Sure it is. You know...
I bet you if they got hungry enough, they could work a little.
Probably. But you know, I was always raised that you eat to live. And people nowadays live to eat. And
Yep.
that's the reason you have the obesity that you have. I've been trying to work on my beer gut here, but I haven't had a whole lot of success. But I have lost weight. I'm down to 193. And I have been up as high as 218, and had to turn red one time. I hit red in the face at a time of shoes, and couldn't even cut my own toenails, which I can now. That's the reason I stopped wearing holes in the end of my shoes. You know, there's a lot of things. You know, we never were allowed to take out more than we were going to eat on our plate. You ate what was on your plate. You didn't take out more than you were going to eat. And you could go back for seconds. We always had plenty to eat. But you never loaded your plate up and then just pick at it and eat what you want off of it. You ate everything on your plate. You didn't waste anything. And we always ate good and healthy. We didn't have any frillies. but we always had good basic food. We ate a lot of baked and boiled fish. I eat a lot of baked and boiled chicken. We never ate anything fried. Of course, we ate an awful lot of beans that were cooked, and we always cooked our pintos in olive oil. Daddy would not let us use a piece of fat back in it.
I don't even put grease in my beans.
Huh?
I don't put grease in my beans.
I love it cooked with fat back.
I don't want nothing in there but a little bit of salt and just a little bit of sugar.
Yeah, I love a big old pot of pintos cooked with fat back meat. But Daddy, they always let us put a little olive oil in there. They wouldn't let us use any pork.
What about eggs?
Eggs? You boiled them. You had boiled eggs. My daddy always ate 2 soft-boiled eggs in the morning. You bring them to a boil and cook them for 2 minutes. You brought them from cold water up to a boil, you cook them for 2 minutes. If you put them in there when the water was already hot or boiling, you boil them for 3 minutes. And then we would poach eggs. You wouldn't let you fry eggs. You didn't eat no fried food. So
How did you poach them?
How do you poach them? They just put a pot of water boiling and crack them right in there.
You don't swirl it?
Huh?
You don't swirl it?
Oh, no.
Every time I ever done that, it's got a mess.
No, you drop them in there and you let the white and the yellow all coagulate together. In fact, they make a little thing almost like a tea strainer that you can put them in there and poach them in.
Mm-hmm.
And I like poached eggs, and I like boiled eggs, I like scrambled eggs, I like eggs any way you fix it. Eggs Benedict, fried eggs.
Benedict Arnold.
Yeah.
You know, there was a guy yesterday, I don't want to say too much, he must have watched the show, but I'm going to say he's 40 years old, and I've never heard of Benedict Arnold, and he was from Michigan.
And he was going to commit.
Yeah. Can you believe that? Well, he said he was raised in Detroit.
Well, that happened not too far from Detroit.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what brought it up. He had a Fort Niagara t-shirt on.
He had what?
A Fort Niagara t-shirt.
Okay.
And he's talking about he was, I'm almost sure he told me he's from Detroit, but I know that he was from that area. Fort Niagara is probably New York, and that's where the Benedict Arnold.
I'm not sure.
That's where Benedict Arnold done his work, wasn't it? But he
Yeah.
never. I mean, I ain't throwing off on that guy, but to grow up here and not have heard of Benedict Arnold don't say much for
I'm
education
gonna
system.
bet you can go up here to the high school and you go into 9th grade, the 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, and half of them will not know who Benedict Arnold is.
That's probably right.
Who was Benedict Arnold?
Arnold Benedict.
There he is.
West Point, New York, planned to surrender to the British forces. I guess that's wrong about Fort Niagara.
Yeah, he defected to the British, and but you know, during the Revolutionary War, you didn't have but about 30% of the population supporting the American fighters.
If I'm not mistaken, Benedict Arnold was at Fort Niagara previous to the Revolutionary War. Let's see if I can
Oh,
find it.
Fort Niagara.
Yeah, they don't say anything about it, so I guess they ain't into it. Well, I didn't know exactly what fort he's at, but I know who he was.
Right. Yeah, they did. Yeah, and they had a whole lot of traitors in this nation's history, you know. People declared traitors.
Didn't have many that lasted long.
I guess the ones that stands out the greatest have been the ones more recently, involved in the nuclear.
The Rosenbergs?
Yeah, Julius and Ethel. And
Okay. Here we go. Can't read that. Too little. Part of Buffalo State's. Let's see. Well, something here about historic events in Buffalo and Niagara River. Benedict Arnold missing gunboat.
Niagara, he was going to turn over to the British, or
West Point.
huh?
West Point.
West Point. And Naval Academy said that wouldn't have been a bad idea. Have you noticed that over at Yemen, which is a pretty strategic country as far as its location is concerned, it's located right down there on, what is that, the Straits of Hormuz? Is that what that is?
Well, it's a neighbor to Saudi Arabia. They've been keeping them up for years.
You want to know that, but they're also located right on the edge of the Straits of Hormuz, I believe. Look that up on Yemen, if you will. And they're pretty strategic. They're located as far as their geographical position is. But you know, they practically have no government there. There are about 3 or 4 tribes that each one of them rule their own people. And you don't really have somewhat of really a centralized government in Yemen.
I don't know. I guess he's still alive. I don't know, but the assistant to the president of Yemen went to UT,
Okay.
and I knew him. In fact, when he moved out of his apartment and left, I bought some of his old furniture. Still got it.
Right.
He had an arranged marriage. His wife come over here while he was going to school, and they had a kid. So that his kid's got American citizenship.
Yes.
He can leave the country if he wants to.
Right.
I ain't heard from him in 10 years.
Okay. Well, you ought to email him.
Well, I don't know how anymore. I've lost contact with him. Right there's Yemen, and there's the Red Sea, the Straits of Hormuz.
There they are, right on
But
the strait.
No,
Huh?
that's Hormuz right there.
Red Sea, okay, where's the Straits of Hormuz? Up here?
Up here at the Persian
Okay,
Gulf.
right
This
there
going
on-
into the Red Sea.
On where the Red Sea.
There's Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, okay. Red Sea, is that where the Suez Canal empties out?
I
Comes
think
out?
so.
Yeah, it comes out through there, yeah. Okay, I knew they had a strategic position, I just wasn't sure exactly where it was.
Well, we've taught history and everything else. Reckon we ought to teach
Yeah,
a little
we
bit
have.
about concrete.
Concrete, goes back 5,000 years, they've determined.
And if Dixie
Before
concrete had mixed it,
BC,
it'd still be
before the
good.
birth of Christ.
So you're talking about 7,000 years?
Yeah, and some of the aqueducts and some of the seawalls, the bulwarks and things that the Romans built are still standing.
If you want your bulwark to last forever, get you concrete and Dixie Concrete. They know how to mix it down there. They've been practicing now for 30-something years.
They most certainly do.
They've been, not only have they been practicing, they figured it out. They don't have to practice no more. They can make
I think they went over there with the waiters of the last ark or the waiters of the tomb or something, and got all them secrets out and brought them over here.
King Tut.
Right. That's Dixie Concrete. Got whatever you need, from septic tanks to the ingredients that go in your fill lines. They've got
Sand and gravel.
good-looking concrete. If you don't believe it, you go down to Food City and just look at what you're walking on, and you'll see what
What about propane? You got any ideas about propane?
Well, I know Digger Wilson's got gas, and I understand that he's got propane also. And I believe he's got 48 different flavors of propane. He's got one in particular that he kind of favors, and he calls it low to pinto beans.
That there is down there in the middle of the road in Sawmill Holler. Open the valve and you can smell the many flavors of Digger's propane.
He has. He's got good service, good prices. He'll fill your tank up completely with the propane that's designed to do what it's designed to do. That's to heat and cook and keep you warm, cook your food, heat your water, whatever you want to do. You know I got a big old propane hot water heater though.
Yeah.
Huh?
Now I know you had one. You still got one?
I still got it. I carried it down to Digger's, and unlike my torch I carried down there, he did light that when the soldates burned good. You know I got a torch over there he wouldn't light.
He's smarter than you are.
I didn't light it either.
Well, I guess what do you need with it then?
I said something needs to be done to it. Oh, you know, the sold the Washington Post, and Bob Woodard, who worked for it, didn't even notice that they were going to sell his paper.
Well, you don't have to tell your work hands you're going to sell the paper.
Well, I know that. But I thought that was unusual. All those investigative reporters
Didn't investigate the right places, did
they
he?
just sold it right out from under it, and didn't even know what happened. Of course, they say probably, you know, the man that owns, what is it?
Amazon.
Amazon, he's probably going to turn it mainly digital.
Well, he needs to turn it a little bit more conservative too, at least
Well,
factual.
You know, I don't know why it is. You take CNN, you take MSNBC, you take NBC, you take ABC and CBS, all of them are losing audience. But they're about like Barack Obama. Barack Obama feels that if he'll do the same thing over and over again better than he did before, he'll have different results.
5625444 right in the middle of the road for Digger's Concrete.
can
I forgot to tell you that.
You can get the results you want down at Digger Wilson.
Well, I don't know about the state of affairs is not too good.
Well, what I'm saying, you know, with CNN, which has got probably less than half the audience it used to have. You got MSNBC, they got nobody but old Big Mouth, blonde-headed guy. You know what I'm talking about, the one that used to be the advisor to Clinton.
Blonde haired?
No.
What'd you say?
Huh?
What did you say?
He's blonde-headed.
Yeah?
Not, what'd you say?
Yeah, I said, did he have blonde hair?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll think of his name a little bit.
What are they going to do to
He's
him?
an idiot. Well, they just keep him on, and you don't realize that
Oh, you're talking about
Mouthy.
on which channel?
I think it's him that's in his head.
Blonde-headed? You ain't talking about Chris Matthews, are you?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't an advisor, was he?
Yeah, he was an advisor or something to Clinton.
And he's red-headed, ain't
Huh?
he? Ain't he red-headed?
Who was it?
Chris Matthews.
Probably something other than brunette.
Yeah, okay.
They don't realize that, you need to get some conservative voices on some of these networks if they're ever going to get any audience. They sit there and they throw off on Rush Limbaugh, and Rush just keeps making 39, 40 million a year. And
Right here, investigators are not releasing the names of the couple, but believe the suspects knew the wife worked at First National Bank of Eagle Lake in Columbus, Texas, or they wouldn't have staked out the couple's home and forced her to withdraw the undisclosed amount of money from the bank after hours. After the robbery, police say the suspects, identified as 20-year-old Jordan Kutak and 21-year-old Preston Kutak, forced the husband to drive the group in his truck down Highway 71. However, they were presumably unaware that the husband had a firearm in his car. After surreptitiously accessing it, the husband shot both suspects, seriously wounding one and killing the other.
he did good.
Yeah, he just got them both. Residents say the husband is a reserve officer with the Sheriff's Department and that the community supports him and his wife throughout this difficult time.
Right. Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'd killed the other and wouldn't have to fool him
Right.
again. No, that's all right.
You got all this uproar over Trayvon Martin. That was a one-on-one killing, and that wasn't a white person that killed him. I wouldn't call him a Caucasian.
He's a white Hispanic
Yeah,
with a Jewish
well,
name.
that's a new name they coined as a result of this, a white Hispanic, But there are such things as white Hispanics, even the Incas and the ruling class of Aztecs were whiter than the rest of the population. Did you know that?
They what now?
The ruling class of Incas,
Incas.
yeah,
Yeah.
were white.
Where'd they get white from?
I guess they started many million years, 1,000 years ago, breeding into white. Where the whites come from to start with, all come the same place.
We are a gene defect.
Yeah, a mutation, that's what we are. We are the ninja mutant white people. But what I was going to say, if you look at the TV, and probably Fox News don't want to give any coverage to it, or you see these 3 young black boys having one white boy, who probably was 13, 14 years old, and repeatedly beating him and kicking him. And you got it right there. They just repeatedly beat him and kicked him, and I don't know whether he lived or not, but there probably will not be any more coverage of that.
Well, the bus driver called somebody. The bus driver called somebody.
3 15-year-olds attacked a 13-year-old after he told
13.
school officials that one had tried to sell him drugs.
Yeah, well, I'd say that probably,
316 beat up one 13-year-old.
yeah.
You
knew
can hear
it
the
was 13.
13-year-old's cries for help as he's mercilessly
Do you
punched and
think Al
stuffed.
Sharpton
They
have
say the
anything to say
attackers
about
broke
that?
the victim's arm and stole
Or
his
Jesse
money.
Jackson?
The three boys were arrested
No.
on
Did
aggravated
you know the
battery charges.
mastermind of
According to
9/11
Dallas County School
went to
policy, the
school and
driver
Greek
is
went
not
offline
required
up
to
there?
intervene, only to call dispatch.
No, I didn't know
He
that either.
graduated from A&T
Stepped in.
University.
I'm not surprised. Everybody I know of come from
He
North
graduated
Carolina.
from the A&T University there in Greensboro.
You talking about that there's a cowie guy?
Yeah. Sure did.
He's a medical doctor,
Huh?
man. He's a medical doctor, ain't
I thought he was an engineer.
he? You talking about the one that was the right-hand man for Obama, for Bin Laden?
The one that masterminded at 9/11 that we've got him in custody now.
Oh, no, that's a different guy. Different from one I was talking about.
Yeah. They may have deleted that little notation due to current trends and ideas and everything. That fact might not be they do say something about it, don't they?
Viracocha was an Irish, was an Inca. Viracocha was a white Inca god.
Was he an actual person?
No,
Huh?
no.
Wonder how they got the idea of a white god then.
Well, I don't know. They say here that the whiteness of Viracocha is, however, not mentioned in the native, authentic legends of the Incas, and most modern scholars therefore consider the white god story to be a post-conquest Spanish invention. I've heard that all my life, though, that they hailed old Cortez as God, didn't he? Who knows? Oh well. So what else is going on, Bobby T?
Well, that's about it, you know. We have an awful lot of racial hatred in this country.
It's worse than it's been in 30 years and should be better, but we've got a guy
Well,
that's there
yeah.
trying to get even with us.
Right, well, most of the hatred is coming from the black toward the whites, it's not from the whites toward the black.
Yeah, I know it.
And, but you get always the black people that are hollering that they are being hated. And, you know, so much of it is based on money. So you can just look and see what the current racial situation has done for the hoodie industry.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, once they realize that all those hoodie makers are white people. But you got Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, the head of the NAACP, they're not worth the crap for it. Trying to bring any racial unity into this country. And the black people, by and large, have alienated themselves from the mainstream America. America's always been a melting pot of the world, and the black people in this country have refused to melt. They have refused to merge. You can say it because the government has destroyed the black family, and that has got a great deal to do with it. The probably situation would be a lot better if the government had not just completely cut out the black father figure and letting the government become the father figure for these children. Because all the young girl's got to do, whether she's black or white, is get pregnant, and the government will give her a check each month, give her food stamps. That's family first, that's what they get. And also give them housing. So what do they need a man for, you know, other than when they get that sudden urge to connect?
Procreate?
Yeah. And the only reason we do that so they can have another young and get an extra check.
If you get to needing to work on your mohicle, like Bob done last week, get your truck running.
What?
Get your truck running.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where'd you get your parts?
I got them at Napa.
Napa Auto Parts?
I sure did. I also got a head gasket for a 1957 farm all-diesel tractor.
Oh, well.
Right in here. And I'm probably going to have to be carrying that block around in the back of the car because I'm going to have to have those sleeves pushed out and the new ones put in there. Well, I really wouldn't have to do but one cylinder, but I'm going to do all of them on that down.
How do you go about putting them sleeves in there?
Huh?
How do you go about putting them sleeves in there?
I'm not sure on that. And I had an old A-farm that had sleeves, and it was one of those that was built to start on gasoline or on kerosene. And we took that block out and we beat those sleeves out of there and we knocked the others back down in there. And I also had a little old Ford diesel tractor, one of those 1500 series, up at the cemetery in Reedsville, North Carolina. And we tore that thing down and knocked those sleeves out and put new sleeves in that thing.
Well, what you do is you warm the block and freeze the sleeves.
Well, yeah, that's I thought you used Vaseline.
No, it won't help. It'll hurt. But if you freeze the sleeves, you just drop them in there. And,
Right.
and you better get them where you want them because they ain't going to move.
Well, they ain't going to stay froze long,
No.
are they?
They'll swell right out.
Right.
But you clean the block good and have it at least 70, 80 degrees.
Right.
And you freeze them there sleeves, leave them in the freezer long enough so they cold down to
Right.
freezer temperature.
Right.
Then you just drop them in there, they just slide right in. They'll start tightening as you push them in.
Right.
And they'll stay right there.
I guarantee you that.
Napa Auto Parts, 562-9406. They're
Right.
up there across from the
Just call
IGA.
Aunt Randy. He's local. He'll look after you.
And if you get to need to ride to the hospital or back, or need to ride an ambulance with a ventilator, you need to call Vital Care of Campbell County. I saw that first time out that time.
Right, yeah.
562-9370.
That's it. That's the number I called when I needed a ride.
When he needed to ride.
He carried me right over there, and it kept me about 5 days, you know, and finally straightened me out. And the only thing I missed about going home was I didn't ride in Vital Care's ambulance.
No, you didn't have no mater juice to drink. You got home,
Didn't
did
have
you?
none to drink when I got home. I hadn't drank any mater juice since.
Wonders why.
Huh?
You but mater juice kind of like I am mulberries, ain't you?
You don't like mulberries?
Oh, I used to love them. When I was about 3 years old, maybe 4, probably 3, my mom and daddy was working up on the hill. They was working a field of corn, I think. And my mother took me and put me in the shade of this mulberry tree on a blanket. And they worked one end of the field and back and check on me when they got back. And while they was out there hoeing the corn, I was just getting them mulberries out. Well, I foundered on mulberries. I like to died that night. And I ain't cared for them since.
Well,
My daughter would climb a tree to eat them.
Huh? Well, we had a mulberry tree that evidently blew over. Oh, it grew like this, and then it went up. And I could get a running start and run up that tree and grab that first limb. and get up in there and eat more mulberries. I love them.
Well, how come, is there a male and female mulberry?
I think there is.
Because I've got some trees out there I ain't never had a berry on, and I've
Right.
got one out there that has berries every year.
Right, I think so. I think that's true. I got 4 or 5 mulberry trees around my house out there.
I've got several, but ain't one of them has mulberries on it. You know what a service tree is?
Yeah.
Service berry is
Yeah,
what they call
yeah.
it. It's getting about time for services. Well, they're green yet.
September, isn't it?
Yeah. First week of September, we'll have services. You can go squirrel hunting and kill squirrels out of the service tree.
Right. How about that? I'd like to have me a good fried squirrel for breakfast.
Well, I tell you what, if you want rabbits, y'all be able to get some this year. Squirrels
Plenty
too.
of them, plenty of rabbits, yeah. Well, how much time we got left?
We have
All we want?
all we want, or we've been going for 51 minutes.
Well, folks, you might as well come on down to my place. I got good washers, good dryers, I got good refrigerators, I got some hot water heaters. If anybody needs a replacement hot water heater, I got 2 40-gallon hot water heaters. They're 220 volts. I've got any number of other items. I've got some real nice kitchen stoves. It won't be long before you're going to be needing some heat. I've got one big pot-bellied stove for sale. If anybody wants a big pot-bellied stove. I sold a wood stove there, I believe, Saturday morning. And so people are beginning to look ahead a little bit for some heat this winter. And as much excess wood as is around here, it'd be no trouble to keep yourself warm this winter if you got a wood stove.
Well, I highly recommend getting ready for winter.
I believe we probably might have a cold winter. We haven't had one in 14, 15 years.
Well,
But
whether
come on
it's
down,
cold or
come
not,
on down to see me.
it's something you can't take care of after it gets here. You
Right,
better get busy.
right. But we want to invite you to watch the show tomorrow night on Channel 12 on television, and we'll be back here on the internet at ugtv.com, and we'll be here at 8 o'clock tomorrow night.
On Channel 12,
Channel 12, yeah.
you're going to be there too?
Probably.
That'd be 2 of us in one. Well, I guess we'll go with that then. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Sure has been a pleasure sitting here with Bob. If you get to need any roofing, siding, sheetrock, lumber, well, I got it. Circle on metal. Thank you. Happy trails.